For the second portion of this video on publishing, we're going to be utilizing it where we just start with a new map instead of using an existing MXD. I went ahead and opened ArcMap. You can see it's untitled. And I didn't open any specific. I just said new. So basically I have a new map platform that has basically nothing in it. As you can see in the table of contents, there's nothing but layers. So the way we accomplish this is we go to catalog. I'd already driven down to where my published geodatabase is, and you just click on cadastral reference, then hold down on it, just drag it on over here into the screen, drop it, and yes, it's going to come up with your table of contents, not similar to what you're used to seeing, and your actual data is going to be this small dot here that you have to zoom in on to see what you have. Now the first thing we're going to do, you'll probably notice here that this looks almost specifically in an east-west direction, whereas when we opened it with an existing MXD in the proper coordinate system that the previous CadNSDI was in, that it was kind of at a little bit of a tilt. Well, that's because when it publishes, we're going to go up here to Layers, right-click on it, go to Properties, and in our coordinate system, you see it's just GCS, Geographic Coordinate System, North America 1983. That's what the actual publishing tool publishes in, but when we use an existing MXD, it already has the coordinate system that was used for the previous MXD in there, and why it comes out looking like the previous CadNSDI. So all we have to do here, and you can make other changes if you decide to maintain a couple different CadNSDIs in different coordinate systems, you could. But that's not the point of this video, and we aren't going to go into that now. We're going to set it to what the previous was, which is going to be in projected coordinate systems. We're going to scroll down a little bit, go to UTM, NAD83, and then we need to select our zone, which for Wyoming is Zone 13, that was utilized for the entire state. We say Apply, and we say OK. Now you notice we have the same tilt as we had previously in utilizing an existing MXD. So the next thing we need to go and do here, you notice your table of contents have none of your sub-feature classes or anything. Well, the first couple we do, it's not going to change much, but basically you would have had to have exported layer files from your previous CadNSDI, which could be demonstrated, or it's actually, you can find out on the Esri help how to do this. Exporting a layer file, I would say export your layer files, keep them in a folder that you can get to, so that if you ever need to use those layer files, you have them readily available. If there's updates or changes to these layers at some point in time, then you would probably want to replace those layer files. I have already exported the layer files from the pre-existing CadNSDI. I do have them available. But all we need to do is we right click, go to Properties, we go to Symbology, we say Import symbology from either another layer in the map or a layer file. I just drive to where my layer files are. Since I've already been in here, it's taking me directly to it. So I look for my point layer, I say Add, I say OK, Apply, OK. Nothing much going to change there. Township. you will see a slight change here. I go to Properties, Symbology, Import. I look for whatever reason, it comes up defaulting to conflicted areas. I can just click here. I can go back to my township layer. I say Add, OK, Apply, OK. Now you notice I have a township perimeter. Okay, our special surveys. You have no real sub-feature classes underneath township, but we do know we have them under special survey. So same thing, right click on there, properties, import. You're already in symbology. If you don't come up, just click on symbology. You'll see what it is, a single symbol. I went to import, same thing. Go to my files. I go to special survey, add, OK. Now if it comes up defaulting to survey type text, that's probably what you want to use, whatever the default is. I say OK. You see now under here, and it changed to categories to unique values. I have in my symbology these layers now. I say apply, OK. Now these are tracks, and they show up with the proper symbology. Second division, it's just all the same process. So symbology, import, look for the files, where am I? Second division, add, OK, second division type text, OK. And I come up with proper sub-feature classes. And as we do this, you see everything being added in. So it's coming in with our sub-feature classes, aliquot part, government lot, remainder aliquot part, remainder government lot, if you happen to use these, unnumbered lot, unsurveyed, protracted, unsurveyed, unprotracted. Now, pending the state and how you actually have yours set up, it may be slightly different from what I have here on the screen. Like I say, this was files originally from the Nevada, because not every state has a Sutro tunnel. Once again, this could be removed, and so on and so forth. But anyways, it's the same thing all the way through. Import. We're going to do first division now. Now, for first division to show up, we may want to move it up. I usually put mine up. That's not going to let me move it at this time. My meander, let's do metadata at a glance. Meandered water. Go ahead and do conflicted areas. I think I downloaded a file for that. We shall soon find out. I did not create a layer file for conflicted areas. So we'll cancel out of that. It's a single, anyways, a single symbol. You could change the color. In Nevada it was red. Our survey system, I do not have a layer file for either. It's one that we don't normally use, so we could even turn that off. And then our PLSS intersected. And now we're all set up. That's the way to get this set up to your table of contents, similar to what you're used to seeing. I'm sure each state is going to have their table of contents slightly different based on small idiosyncrasies that each state may have different from other states. Now, we're still untitled. So what I want to do is, once again, I want to save this MXD. I'm going to save as. Right now it's untitled. It automatically went to where I'm storing these MXDs. So it has my CadNSDI published that I started with. This is my parcel fabric MXD. This is the one that we changed the name. I opened it with this, changed it to this for the date. So I would recommend something similar to this one here. If you're going to do the layer file method, then probably save it with the same date. So for this instance and this exercise, I'm going to call it CadNSDI publish 7/13/2016, and I'm going to say layer file. I'll call it layer files. I'm going to say save, and now you notice it changed up here, and I could distinguish if I wanted to experiment both ways to just get used to this, where I have both MXDs and I can look and see there are slight differences between doing it in the layer files than the MXD that I had saved previously. Some of the displays, how the subfeature classes are slightly different colors or whatever. This could be changed and adapted, but this gives you a chance to look at the differences. So that pretty much concludes the video. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. So with an existing MXD, you need to set your data source for each layer to match that. It already came in the coordinate database that the MXD was in. If you're going to create a new map by dropping your data into the map and loading the layer files, remember the first thing you will probably want to do is to come up to layers and set the coordinate system that you want it to be in. And then it's just going to each one and importing your layer file. As you can see, it's pretty much about the same process, number of steps and procedures either way that you do it. But now that you have a published CadNSDI, this is how you set it up for an MXD that you would like to see. That pretty much concludes this video. Have a nice day.